Welcome to Maroon Sports Talk, your one-stop shop for all EKU sports. My name is Nicholas Speer.
I'm Jenna Evans.
I'm Joey Aguire.
And I'm Caleb Wells.
All right, welcome back to another episode, the episode right before fall break. So, you guys have any plans for fall break, anything at all? What are y'all going to do?
I'll be at the Kentucky Vanderbilt game.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Me
wow.
too.
Coming off that number one window.
You're gonna be there
I will be there.
Wow.
Maybe y'all can go get that,
Are you
famous
security
UK
or
ice cream.
No, I'm not security.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually going to the game.
You're actually going to the game.
Are you
okay.
security?
I have a ticket.
No.
I'm going to the game.
No. Jenna works security for U of L games sometimes, so that's why I was asking.
Wow.
Not that
Pretty
Jenna
intimidating.
Evans would, stalk anyone at
Now,
all.
if Joey was like security.
Yeah, no, I'd be terrified. I'd be
Pretty
terrified.
stock, yeah.
If this
Hey.
man walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, man,
It pays good.
you looking for your seat?" I'd sit down. I'd sit down.
It pays good.
Really?
Like last week's game, we got $100 each person.
What?
Oh.
Come on
Like,
now.
for one
Hold on, I
day.
need to
How
go
many
work in
people?
Security.
How many people
Yeah,
do we have? We
yeah.
had 14.
And I know for a fact you're not doing anything because
Have y'all seen
you
that?
wouldn't be here
Have y'all
if you
seen
had
that meme of the security people on the field like trying to stop the crowd?
I was
Yeah.
literally gonna bring that up.
Yeah, that was me.
I was literally-
That was
where they
me.
just stand there and they're like, "Hey,"
You know,
like
like
walk past them. That's Jenna.
when they try to take the field goal, and I'm one of the ones that's like around the field goal, like trying to stop them.
The goalpost.
Yeah, goalpost.
Jeez.
Good
You're
morning.
actually on podcast.
Good morning.
Good morning. All
I
right.
knew that felt weird coming out.
Probably. Okay. Well, Jenna works security. That's the first with a little segment here on our screen. Jenna working security. So, all right. So we'll move into the gridiron. EKU travels to Utah, southern Utah specifically, probably like 2 hours south of Salt Lake City, but that doesn't matter. So it is their homecoming game. So kind of give your thoughts about, maybe it seems like a tough environment probably with their homecoming game, probably going to pack it out. So
Yeah, I'd say that's going to be a challenge. You don't just pick up and go to Utah every day.
yeah, their truck left
so-
like 3 days ago.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely a very different environment. I'm sure it's their homecoming game, so it's going to be packed. Like it's going to be wild. They've got a lot to defend. They want that win for homecoming. So I think what EKU's got to do is they've just got to stick to what they're good at. Like they've just got to know what's been their strong suits and carry that into that environment, and just know that it's much easier said than done, but know that no matter what's happening in the crowd, how loud they are, how aggressive the other team is, just knowing stick to your basics, your fundamentals, what you're good at, and go execute those things. And then after that, you can go to the drawing board and build upon that.
Speaking about knowing things you're good at, according to the NCAA, this is as of October 8th, so this is after last week and before this week.
3 days ago.
The NCAA pulls out their stats and stuff like that. Southern Utah is third in rushing, sixth in passing, and this is in the UACR football conference. Fourth in total offense, fifth in scoring. On the flip side, EKU on defense is one across the board.
Yeah.
So I mentioned, we mentioned at the beginning of the year that defense would be key, and it seems like seems to be the thing coming
Panning out.
Yeah.
Tisdale and Mike Smith Jr., these guys we picked up that we thought were going to really just bolster this defense and so it's good to see that the line's playing well too.
Yeah, getting
don't
into the
discredit
quarterback,
I was gonna say don't discredit the pass rush. I know our DBs and the secondary are the guys that are flashy and make more of the plays, but the line's doing their job. I mean, they're getting pressure, so really just they've been really solid across the board. I'm not sure if that credit goes to Coach Wells or if it goes to our defensive coordinator, but someone's done a fantastic job with this squad. And so whoever that is, good job.
It's such a weird tale of two halves. I mean, last year we couldn't stop a cold, and I'm sure we were 7th and 8th of the board in the UAC in total defense.
Right.
I mean, you feel like you could put up 50 with Parker McKinney, but this year it's just the complete opposite.
I know
Our
we couldn't
offense,
guard a parked car, but we scored 50 a game.
I know,
and then now it's
can't do anything.
I know,
Yeah.
for the first half of football, I was just begging to complete a pass down the middle. That's all I wanted.
But this is just really, the big test. I mean, we've won 3 in a row. I don't know if it's opponents that we're facing, but you can't really discredit really anybody. We beat West Georgia, who was in our conference, and we played a historically decent Robert Morrison. They had a top 10 play at the beginning of the year on offense with that one-handed catch.
Right.
On offense, it's a little bit more concerning. It's 7 across the board. But that's, I mean, I'm looking at these stats here. Matt Morrissey, sorry, is fourth or fifth in the conference in total efficiency. Joshua Carter, running back, is up there as well. So I don't know if that's just because of the beginning of the year, and that's kind of a hangover from the beginning of the year where we just couldn't score anything against Mississippi State and WKU. But it seems like we're slowly creeping up as the stats go on. You guys can look at this on the UAC website as well if y'all want. But that's kind of how the story is playing out throughout the year. So
yeah, I don't know that's going to happen at the Southern Utah game because it's really hard to go into an opponent's house and establish, I mean, yourself really, but even just something new. But I would like to see us just get more dominant on the ground. We do need just a little more diversity as far as run pass and then even run pass option. So those RPO plays. So
and historically in the past we've been great on the road. Hopefully this before the kind of the gauntlet we were talking about last week with Tarleton State and Central Arkansas and ACU. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but
Abilene Christian. Yeah,
there we go. Abilene Christian. Kind of Jenna, what are your kind of thoughts on this week's game?
Well, I was just looking at Southern Utah's stats, and they're 2-4. So I feel good. For home games, they're 0-2, and away games, they're 2-2.
Yeah, and they played Utah the first week of the year.
Yes, they've played Utah, University of Texas at El Paso.
And that was
that's the game they won.
That's they beat UTSA.
Beat UTEP, who is in CU. Okay. They're CUSA, I'm pretty sure, and they're an FBS school, so they beat them 27-24, I think. So definitely a kind of hit or miss team. It seems like rolling in. Definitely those top three: Abilene Christian, Tarleton State, and ACU, or Central Arkansas. What to worry about that as well. So, but they have a really good FBS win, so they can come and play. So, and they have iron sharper iron. Where we played Mississippi State, they played Utah. So it should be a really interesting game. Yeah. I'll definitely be checking that one out for sure. So kind of moving on from the gridiron. Soccer. I know we always harp conference play ever since last year on this podcast. I mean, just an unreal turnaround. Kind of what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's been just insane. It just feels very reminiscent of last year's basketball season, where like everyone was just like, "Oh shoot, like we suck," and then we got to conference play, and it was like, "Oh, we're really good. Yeah. We are probably going to make the NCAA tournament." So like, it's just crazy how the script can flip, and it's just funny because you and I have interviewed countless athletes from this school. Yeah. And what's the one thing they say all the time? Conference play.
Those mid-majors is just so important.
Yep. So, like, that's what's been crazy to see. It's really interesting because sometimes you wonder, like, whether it's a switch that's been flipped and they're playing a different way, or sometimes it's really just the mentality or the aggressiveness. Like, they get to conference play and they just want it more. Yeah. And so then that's where you see, the better plays, the higher stakes. So it's been phenomenal to see. Great coaching, great defense. Honestly, that's where they're making their highlights.
That's been the story. Is just great defense.
I know you make a lot of the soccer games that I don't get a chance to. So what are you seeing from actually being there?
Oh, we had a really tough 2-game stretch. I know we talked about it last pod. Playing against Vanderbilt on the road. And then coming home and having a really tough loss against Lipscomb and got shut out. The combined score of those 2 games was 10-0. And then we went on the road and played Austin P and won 1-0. And that was kind of like, what do we got something going on here? And then the home game against FGCU during when Hurricane Helene was rolling around. We went up to Lexington Sporting Club at their facilities and won 2-1. And then played again against Stetson 3-2. And those were 2 teams that had a chance to win the ASUN. And it was 2-1 against FGCU, 3-2 against Stetson. And that was kind of like, oh crap, like what's going on here? And just better defense, a lot more pressure. But the defense is key, and making sure that we actually stay on our side of the field trying to score a goal rather than having to soak up all their pressure on the defensive side of the ball. Because if you just keep getting pressure and pressure and pressure put on you, it's not going to go if you can't get the ball on the other side of the field. So that's kind of seemed to be the story. We have 11 goals for, 8 goals against. So it's kind of the middle of the road where FGC is 22 goals for and 5 goals against, and then Central Arkansas, top of the conference, 15 goals for, 9 goals against. So, and we do really, really well at home and away. We're, let's see here, I'm trying to look, 3-1 at home and 2-1 on the road. So going on the road really doesn't matter for our squad. And then we played top opponent Central Arkansas and only lost 0-1, and then went to North Alabama, won 4-1, and then yesterday we defeated West Georgia 1-0. So just defense, honestly. And then we averaged 1.6 goals a game, which isn't great, but it's still above that 1.5 average. So I genuinely think we have a shot at hosting a home playoff game for soccer. So
yeah, that'd be incredible. It's way to turn it around by them.
Yeah, 8-6-1. Congratulations to the soccer team. It's just great. So, Jenna, I see you kind of looking at their schedule here. What are your kind of thoughts on soccer? I know you talked about last week how flipping a mentality in sports is super important.
So we actually get to go to soccer games and do the shagging. So I do soccer shagging, and I sometimes get so distracted because I'm just so mesmerized by our team and their defense. Yeah. They are aggressive.
Yeah, they're very aggressive on defense.
I sometimes get distracted. I'm like, oh, wait a second, I need to be giving them a ball right now. And instead, I'm just sitting there like staring like, oh my gosh, I could never imagine doing anything like this.
Yeah.
We play Queens on Sunday, October 13th. So that's senior day. So that'd be it'd be really great if we could get a win on senior day, of course. I have never really understood soccer. It's like one of those things that I'm just like, I cannot wrap my brain around how it goes. Yeah. And so I'm excited to see. I hope we get a playoff game. I really do.
Yeah, a home playoff game would be unreal.
Oh yeah.
So packing out that soccer complex would be huge. I remember Caitlin last year on the pod, because she played soccer. She mentioned they run like 7-8 miles a game, and it's just like cardio is just like so important, making sure that you stay on your side of the field and putting pressure on the opponent rather than getting pressure on you. So good luck to the soccer team the rest of the way. We hope we can host a home playoff game. That'd just be unreal. So kind of moving away from the pitch and moving to the world of esports. What do you got, Joey?
So I don't really have much for EKU esports. I was going through some of the VODs that they had on Twitch, and they did it. The only one that I really knew and understood was Valorant. And it's a very basic understanding of the game, but we did end up winning, at least the Maroon team, and they played Utica. In both games, they got ahead early, and they had that lead. However, in their first game, they got really close to losing it and making it go into overtime, because one of our better players he had a grudge against one of their players. It looked like
personal grudges go crazy,
and he kept trying to like 1v1 them, and he would get killed, and he was our best fragger, so he had the most kills on our team. And yeah, we lost, I think it was 3 or 4 rounds in a row because he kept dying early on.
You gotta get in his head, man. Just be like, hey, man. Like, get him out. I don't know. Well, 1v1 him after it.
So it seems like things got better because they did end up winning overtime in that first map to give them that win. And then second game, same thing. When it seemed like whenever he died, the round would more than likely end in a loss. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't win. We ended up pulling in the win for both maps, giving Valorant the win for.
There you go. That's awesome.
So, I know in like physical sports and like non-esports, they talk a lot about like you don't want to get defensive with your offense. And they talk about that in a lot of different sports. I think one of the prime examples of that is, Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl,
Yep.
Yeah.
Atlanta
Up 24,
Falcons
Yep.
in the Super
up
Bowl.
24-3, they end up losing the game. So, like, that's something they talk a lot about is, like, you don't want to, just because you're up big and you want to start, like, making sure that you don't lose that lead, you take your foot off the gas and the other team creeps back up on you. Is that something that can happen or happens a lot or maybe not a lot, like in the world of esports?
It happens quite a bit. I think a lot more than people think or would like to admit.
Sure.
Because it could be, because that's what was happening on that game. Like,
Yeah.
they were ahead and they were playing like they were ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done it too when I was on League of Legends. I would play like I'm ahead instead of playing like I'm behind and
Yeah.
giving
Keep that foot
up
off the gas.
gold to
Yeah.
the opposing team can lose you the game.
Yeah, that's unreal. So a lot of strategy going in. Does it seem like kind of things like and I know in football and basketball, if you have a giant lead, you take your foot off the gas. Is that kind of the same way in the realm of esports, or is it kind of opposite?
So I think it depends on the game because League of Legends, if you do have those leads, you want to push them and make the most out of your leads. However, games like Valorant and Siege, if you have that lead and you start to play aggressive when you don't need to, that can cost you the entire round. And then, in turn, lower your morale for the next round, and then things just go downhill.
Yeah.
You snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. So good luck the rest of the way for our esports teams. Kind of moving to the volleyball court. I know, Caleb, this is kind of your realm. What do you think the past few games here?
Yeah, so they've kind of hit what's been a little bit of a lull, kind of a bump in the road. They kind of did the opposite of what soccer did. They got to conference play and they dropped 3 games in a row, which was not a pretty sight. They did turn it around Wednesday, October 9th, against Bellarmine.
Yeah.
Which is a big win, another in-state team. So that was good to see. But, I wasn't able to make any of the 3 away games, obviously. They're in Arkansas, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Oh, you should have drove, man. That's crazy.
I love EKU volleyball, but unless they're going to pay for me, I'm not traveling. But I was going through the stats because I wasn't able to watch the games. And so what I was looking at, and so something I've noticed that seems to be, it's interesting. What doesn't occur when we're losing, but does occur when we're winning, is the assist numbers are split almost evenly in our wins between Emily Hill, primary setter, and then Cooper Abney, freshman, like secondary setter. In our wins, the assist numbers are almost like identical. It's usually 18-19, 19-18, like those kind of hovering around right around under the 20 mark. But then when you look at the losses against Lipscomb, North Alabama, Central Arkansas, you've got Emily Hill with almost 30, 35 assists in each game, and you've got Abney with like 10 or 12. And so I'm just wondering if that has something to do with it. Like maybe we need to I don't know. I think it makes us maybe more one-dimensional when we only have and obviously I didn't get to watch the game, so I don't know if that's like forcing them into a situation where Abney isn't really getting the opportunity to set and Emily is having to set more. But I've just noticed, in the wins, we've got both setters getting heavily involved, and I think that probably means that they're spreading the wealth a little bit more, and that they're getting all the players involved. But that is a trend I am noticing. And if you look back to wins and losses prior in the season, the same thing occurs. Even in preseason against the better teams, you look at big games we won against, Marshall and stuff like that. But then you look at a loss to like a Green Bay team that we easily could have beat. Yeah. It's the same trend happens. Abney low on sets, Emily Hill high up on sets.
That's a very interesting kind of look at it. It seems to be we're kind of lower middle end of opponents too. I think I don't know if it's defense or what, but they do kind of seem to be in a funk right now. We have number 1 in the ASUN FGCU come into our house on Sunday, 10 a.m.
Yeah, they changed the time of the game. It was going to be a Saturday night game.
Yeah, so Sunday morning, I'm sure it'll be a packed out house. Jenna, what's kind of your take so far on the volleyball season?
I was just looking, and I was looking at those losses, and if you go on down through their schedule, they play Lipscomb, Central Arkansas, and North Alabama all again. So I think they need to take that opportunity to fix whatever they had going wrong in those 3 games and fix them in those 3 so they can get back on track before the ASUN conference.
Yeah.
So they have a chance to almost get revenge, I would like to say. Maybe that's just the competitive spirit in me. But, I mean, this Sunday, a 10 a.m. game, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm not a morning person. So I can't imagine playing a 10 a.m. game. So I hope they get to bed early.
Yeah. I'll definitely be checking it. I'll definitely watch it from my house. I usually go and film, but I'm off this Sunday. So hopefully I get a chance to get up in the morning with my morning coffee and watch some EKU volleyball. Kind of bring it back. I'll bring a report back and see what we got.
I think another thing I've noticed too is if you look, a trend we have, but going in the wrong direction, is our block numbers have diminished.
I noticed that too on the ASUN website. Yeah.
I mean, we were averaging. Well, Paige Wagers was averaging 5, 6, 7 blocks a game, by herself. And now she's she's still killing it. But in another sense, it's come back down to earth. Her block numbers are still incredible, and she's still putting up multiple blocks a game. But now we're looking at 2 or 3, which is a lot more normal.
Our average block, we're 3rd in the ASUN, which is great.
But it's because of early season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We averaged 2.2 blocks a set, total 140. 9.
But if you look at the most recent games, she's the only player putting up blocks. You'll have 2 or 3 from Wagers, and then you've got maybe 1 from Ledford here and there. Only our middle blockers are even getting blocks, and the numbers are not what they were. I mean, you had Wagers getting 7, 8 blocks a game, and then you'd have Ledford follow that up with 5 or 6. Sarah Mitchell was getting involved in the blocking game, so that's completely gone away. I don't know if that's just because. But I just don't get why, because our preseason were tougher teams. We were blocking more against tougher teams.
Yeah.
And I get conference is hard, but those blocks, we probably got to get those back. And that's when we were really just dominant. Is when, if you're blocking those and then you have your libero, like Josie's able to filter those in, set up for a good pass, then get both setters involved, I think that's where our bread and butter is going to be. So I think, Wagers is still killing it, but if somebody else can get on the net and help Paige on the net, that can really help right what's been a bad conference start.
Yeah, hopefully they can turn that around.
Absolutely.
But moving on from volleyball to wrapping up here, our question of the day. Kind of an interesting one here. If you could only watch one sport the rest of your life, or one esports team or a game, what would it be? I'll start with, as per usual, Joey. What do you think?
So, sport, it'd be football. I grew up playing football, and I love the sport, just as in general. Esports, I'd probably go with the game, and I'd probably say Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, yeah. We love Rainbow Six Siege on this pod. We need to have one time, we need to just on a weekend or throughout the week play it and see what we think, and then come back to it and tell you what we thought our experience was.
The 4 of us could play together.
Get it in there. I can't imagine Jenna just absolutely going nuts on the headset. That'd be crazy.
Mute myself.
Jenna playing Rainbow Six would be a sight.
Yeah, that'd be a sight.
She'd be like, wait, why are we not jumping out of the battle bus? Why are we already on the ground? This is not right.
Where is my, what's that thing where you kind of glide? Where's my glider?
Yeah,
Where is my glider?
Jenna, why did you just jump off the building and die? I thought I had a glider.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Kayla, what's your thoughts on this?
One sport for the rest of my life. Gotta go football. Football is it's my sport. I gotta be able to watch the Eagles, Kentucky, even though they're the most inconsistent team known to mankind.
Both of them are actually really the most inconsistent teams.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You didn't have to do that to Philadelphia. Okay, Jalen Hurts is my dad. He's trying. Sirianni.
You gotta get a new QB coach in there, man.
Yeah, we gotta get a new QB coach. Gotta get rid of Sirianni, but I'll save my rant for another time.
Yeah, or we gotta get a game. What game? What do you think? What kind of game?
Oh, video game. Shoot.
I should have said watch or play.
Yeah. Video game. Let me think. see, Rainbow Six was always my game. Like growing up, I was really good at it. In like middle school, as an absolute demon. But I don't think that I'd want to play that because it made me really mad. I'd rage a lot. I want to be happy. So I'd say like just a calm game. If I had to play it for like the rest of my life, probably like Minecraft.
I knew you were gonna say Minecraft. Yeah. Jenna's gonna say Minecraft or Fortnite. One of the other.
She's gonna say Fortnite for sure.
One of the other.
Well, let me change my answer.
Now, Jenna, what do you think?
Yeah, she's gonna.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Sport-wise, definitely basketball.
Yeah.
Esport game. I was gonna say Fortnite, but can I say Mario Kart? Does that count?
Yeah, it is.
We have to have a Mario Kart esports team, right?
That'd
be so
if
crazy.
We don't,
that'd be so crazy.
It's me.
But I think there is like competitive Mario Kart.
Oh, there has to be.
So
I get competitive with Mario Kart, so I know everyone else does.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, if I don't say basketball, because I'm literally wearing the Indiana Pacers hoodie today, I have to go basketball. Absolutely, 110%. Gotta watch the Pacers, even though they blow leads. UK basketball, February 1st, 9 p.m. We need to have a watch party or something. Gotta love UK basketball. Shout out AW.
Last night was late night with the Colonels.
Yeah,
it was a good night.
Absolutely. And then for game, I have to go COD Zombies.
Ooh, so
valid. Wait, if we were
so
you said watch. That's what
we could change it. Watch or play. I don't know.
If we were doing play, I would say Call of Duty Zombies.
Call of Duty Zombies.
So
watching it, also Call of Duty Zombies.
How many times have we mentioned Call of Duty Zombies on the podcast?
Oh, so much. Mostly because of me. Mostly because
I swear we're bringing it up like every episode now.
We need to have like just an esports episode one day.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Just talk about video games the entire time in esports. So. I think that kind of wraps it up here. I'm going to try and do something different, kind of on the whim here. Maybe predictions. Okay. For this weekend, EKU football. What do you think? I think we pull out the dub.
Shoot. Yeah, I'll take the dub.
You take the dub.
Yeah.
You think volleyball can rebound against FGCU? Number one in the country. It's a huge high stakes game, man. Yeah.
FGCU. You know, I love my EKU volleyball. Everyone knows that. But, I don't know, FGCU's tough. It was either them or North Florida. I always get the Florida teams mixed up. But one of them is the one that took us out in the ASUN tournament last year.
I think that was North Florida.
It might have been North Florida.
It was a huge upset, though, too.
Yes, it was. So, you know, they give us trouble in, you know, both volleyballs, that and sand volleyball. But, I do think FGC probably gets the win. We've been on a little bit of a lull.
I think we rebound at Queens. Then
that's
Georgia.
That's where I'm expecting.
And then we have two home games against Jacksonville and North Florida.
That's where I'm expecting to rebound as well. I think we'll march into Queens and be just fine after what's probably going to be a tough loss against FGCU. But I don't think they're going to dominate us in any way, shape, or form. I think it goes
5 sets.
5 set, yeah. It would not shock me one bit for at least 4. Possibly 5 sets. Josie's gonna be everywhere. I interviewed Josie and Sarah earlier in the year, and they hate FGCU with a burning passion.
Terrible, yeah.
They hate them.
Yeah.
So I know that Josie and Sarah
and
Paige are gonna be on their absolute A game. I mean, really, the whole team will be, but especially those seniors.
When I interviewed AG, it was just she was such a high competitor, and I think she really has a chip on her shoulder. The whole team does. Really.
Oh yeah.
For soccer, I think they easily squeak out the dub at senior day. You can't lose a senior day at home.
Right.
So then they head out to Florida for like a week. So against Jacksonville and North Florida. So, Joey, any esports games on the horizon or anything that you last minute thoughts?
I think Valorant, our Maroon team, can definitely pull out the win. I don't know much about our white team. Rainbow Six, I didn't see that they had a game streamed this past week, but it's possible that they just didn't get around to streaming it. So, but I do know the 2 games I have talked about, they've lost both of them. So, I think
a little too, huh?
Yeah, I think they just need to work on their coordination though with some of their like offense and defense, and then they'll be able to pull out wins.
Absolutely. Jenna, any last minute thoughts on any of that?
I'm going to go in with some confidence and say that this weekend is going to be a great weekend in EKU sports.
Okay.
I'm looking
Dubs
for
all around. Dubs.
three
Dubs all
dubs
around.
everywhere.
Dubs
Football,
everywhere.
soccer, volleyball.
Eat the W.
Yes.
Eat the W. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys after fall break on Friday. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.